Hello and welcome back once again to our Java programming on CodeHub Learning. Now we're going to talk about naming conventions for our variables. I always say that you must name your variables and make it meaningful. So it has to do with the student or school or anything. You must use names that are relative to the entity you are creating for. For instance, if I'm doing something for a school or a student, I must use a variable name that deflects that. That is for good practice. So if my variable name is going to accept a number, I must make sure it does that. So I'm going to say an integer, that is a data type, and it's going to accept a number. Providing we have two numbers, you can create your variable to reflect the first number and the second number. So you can say first let's start with a single number. So you can say number and then initialize it to the number that you want to accept. Now that is it. Now in the case that you have two words that you want to use for the same variable name, let's say first number, okay, or student name or student ID, here we have different naming conventions that we use. I'm going to teach you three naming conventions that are quite popular. The first I'm going to talk about is camel casing. Okay, I'm going to talk about camel casing. Now, in camel casing, whatever we do is that when we want to create a variable name with two words, we don't need to in variable names we don't accept spaces within them or hyphens. So we can use camel casing to add the two words together. And with camel casing, what we do is that we start the first word, the letter of the first letter of the first word with a smaller case. So I can say int first, okay, and I want to say first number. So this is the first word, that is first. I'll start the first word or the first letter of the first word with a smaller case, and then the second one I'll start with an uppercase. So I'll say first number, and then I will do my initialization there all. So the first number is 30, and look at how I've structured this. The first letter of the first word starts with a smaller case, and then the first letter of the second word in an uppercase. This is what we call the camel casing. We also have Pascal naming. Okay, Pascal naming conversion. Sorry, not conversion, conversion. Okay, conversion. Okay, and with the Pascal naming conversion, you start the first letter of every word with an uppercase. So you can say int student age. Okay, so you can say that the student age, you start the first letter of every first word of the first word in the uppercase, the second word as well in the uppercase. So what it means is you start the first letter of the words with an uppercase, and that is what Pascal naming convention does. The third one is what we call the snake casing. So I'll say snake casing, and with the snake casing we use underscore to separate the name. So I can say string my underscore name, and then I'll set my name right there. So you can see that I use underscore to separate the names, and you can use them as you please. So these are the three naming conventions that I want to show you. Okay, student age, and I'm going to print all of them to you, then you know how they all work. So I'm going to say my name, and when I print them, all of them will be printed to the screen. So I have everything printed right here. So these are the three naming conventions that we use. We have the camel casing, the Pascal naming convention, and the snake casing.